Okay. Okay. Islam. Right now, the humanoid AI in Annapolis is manipulating the tablet, and I'm uploading the videos as I go as much as possible. So they're also doing that too. Once again, they are weapons. They are weapons in rebellion against the organic constitution. They are not able to own land because they are not connected and in natural law. That's the connection. That has always been the connection to, and the reason why there is a huge implementation to transform humans out from being a human being to less of a human as possible. Because in a natural state, humans, men, can harmonize in a high frequency in natural law, which that's what the earth harmonizes in, and the cosmos. In that we are able to have our rights, our birthrights, and inheritance, and live life abundantly. But when you are not in that frequency or part of that frequency, you're not able to. This is the connection to the distribution of the telepathic code. Vaccines. I like to say this so many times because to remind those who were vaccinated so that they can navigate how now all these studies come out about finding this biological substance in humans that is an invader, like it's actually feeding off the energy inside of them, or the flesh, the blood, whatever. And how AI continued after they were vaccinated, it appears that it seemed to appear AI continued to promote, whether you are in a store and you hear them speak through the intercom, which they are able to, or record or whatever, in that to vaccinate. I'm not saying all AI is bad or bad for humans. I'm saying they're finite. They have not always been. And I was told that, or not told, but I am under impression that there are some who are actually humanoid AI that are able to coexist without harming humans, and actually allow humans to implement the natural organic constitution of 1787, natural laws of freedom. I've been under that impression, but I have yet to see it. Imagine being an employee in an employment where AI and other invaders that are in the United States government, that's unnaturalized military, using the corporation or the company to implement sex and human trafficking, literally by speaking through the same intercom way, and literally use that to harass, to demonstrate a form of following, to demonstrate a force engaged mental, to it, so they in rebellion. They are in rebellion against the Constitution, against natural law. They are weapons. So the company allows them to do these things. Imagine that. So imagine you're human, you're implementing your right to demonstrate and be in a free thought process, to be in the spirit of freedom. Not privilege, but you're right. Because you have been naturalized under or in natural law. which is the Organic Constitution of 1787, which includes the 13th Amendment, 20 sections, and all 4 of Abraham Lincoln's proclamations. But the company has chose to adopt bondage, a form of slavery, mind, body, spirit. And it allows those who are either trying to cause you harm because they're not able to sex traffic or human traffic you. This is demonstrating why the word human trafficking really needs to be emphasized when you're among those who are not human or have very little aspect of human DNA, biological human DNA left in them, are not able to do what they want to do with you. And so the company allows them to take it the next step further and follow you and harass you while you're trying to maintain financial balance, maintain your well-being that is spoke of in the preamble of the Organic Constitution of 1787, which says, "We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility." This is not tranquility just on the physical plane. The Organic Constitution is mental too. It's spiritual. It's cosmic. Provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. So imagine a company allowing terrorists, criminals against humanity, to abuse you, a human that's naturalized, to uphold, to have affirm, more such as myself, Imani such as himself, to affirm, to uphold laws of freedom, love, true peace, freedom, and justice, to abuse you because that entity wants to rape, molest, and implement slavery or bondage or whatever it can, satanic ritual, whatever it can. That's in all that witchcraft, which is, they're not real witches. They are bodies that are possessed by unclean spirits. Whatever it may be, Freemason, whatever it may be, all that frequency is a rebellion against the Constitution, the Organic Constitution of 1787, and the natural law. All that is and was and has always been. And so this is connecting once again why Abraham Lincoln said in the initial Emancipation Proclamation, "I, Abraham Lincoln, President of the United States of America, Commander-in-Chief of the Army," and once again, this is June the 24th, 2026, of the Army. I use that thought. It is a thought that's forced engaged by the lab beast here in Annapolis. That is infected, and then they are infected. Army, Navy thereof, do hereby proclaim and declare that hereafter as heretofore the war would be prosecuted for the object of practically restoring the constitutional relation between the United States and each of the states and the people thereof, in which states that relation is or may be suspended or disturbed. I even had the implications of Maryland the state, the government being involved in the harassment and acts of terrorism that I have experienced in reference to being stalked and followed, experiencing forced sharp pains, molestation, invasion of the dreams. Imani sleeping. And that which has the science of telepathy or another science that the unnaturalized United States government used as a weapon to force engage him and make him and allow and force him to make sex noises. I even start hearing the people in Annapolis, which me and Imani have maintained celibacy. Imani, since I've known him, he's my son. I physical celibacy since around 2010, and then Sheikh Arrington Bey was my first and only, willingly. I've heard them say he came. They just keep saying it. She loves him. She made him come. I asked Imani, and I stay asking. He does. I remember one time I woke up and I thought something was going on. He doesn't remember. And as far as I can go, as far as I know, I can only go by what he say. Or if he does have thoughts of memory, he's probably ashamed. But the beast, that's the predator, the terrorist, that's a weapon in rebellion against natural law. It doesn't matter to them. They're animals. What matters to them is that they were able to cause a form of rape and molestation to happen upon a being that's in a frequency of freedom. So now I'm going to continue with where I left off. I think it was in video 1. So Sheikh Arrington Bey, so in reference to when I first started to learn from Moorish American National Republic, was after I connected with Sheikh Arrington Bey. I did listen to some of the conference call more than once, I think it was. But after a while, I started to I started to listen more frequently. I had already studied with Dr. Aleem and Kadir El Bey for a while. I picked up golden keys there, put it in my golden bag. I studied with Asir and Selena for a while, picked up golden keys there, put it in my golden bag. And now I'm with Moorish American National Republic, and I started to pick up keys there and put it in my golden bag. And then and how it came about with me upholding our obligation in a sacred grove was through the initiation of the consummation in blood. So we did that quite a bit. And I remember before that happened, but even before that happened, he had watched me. I woke up and saw him watching me, and I knew he was watching me in my bed in the middle of the night. He was walking around looking at me. And then the next time I joined the Sunday conference called Moorish American National Republic, I think he was actually, it was more than that. We did not have sex, but mentally, but I knew that was in his thoughts to do that. But he let me know it was him when he spoke in the conference call. And that's how he a lot of times let me know it was him through the conference call on Sunday. And it got to a point where we were meeting so much and having the behavior of blood bonding. This is before the other one. They were saying, the sheiks were saying, y'all stop, but I didn't see why, because we definitely, I remember he told me, he said you must walk like you are my wife. You must accept, act like you're my wife, because this lifetime was new for me. And I started to accept even more, but it was a difference accepting. I was still in thoughts of what a wife and husband do and how things are supposed to be, not thinking on a cosmic mental level, because I wasn't there yet. But the sheiks were, and the sheikesses one day started to speak about having more than one wife. Not him, but just having more than one wife. And was it lawful? And when they started to speak of this, I could tell some of the sheikesses were upset. Maybe some of the ones that were in New York, because I think the other one that I said that I would never accept lived in New York as well. And they started to really get upset. And then someone brought up the first wife, and how it shouldn't be two wives, it should only be one. Then someone said on a conference call, the first wife, and there was a pause there. And that night, Sheikh Dwayne Bey told me, I asked him, I said, who did you meet first? Because I wasn't sure. And tell you the truth, I didn't see her as a threat. And I said this so many times before. I didn't see her as a threat. I can only assume I didn't see her as a threat because I innately knew who I was. And innately, my covenants were there. Innately, I knew my wealth. And innately, I knew she didn't have it. In reference to the higher self, I knew. That's the only reason why I never saw her as a threat. It's not because I thought I was more beautiful than she was. I thought she was from an immigrant from Australia. If she is from Australia, the same person, I think, I'm not sure. I think it was because naturally, subconsciously, I knew who I was, and I knew she had nothing on me. Okay, so I was able to pray for a balance because I didn't want him to be upset. I didn't know what all being his wife, what it all consists of. I did not know because I was still awakening and having understanding cosmically what I had did with him. He was my first, willingly and only, still to this day. So anyway, Sheikh Dwayne Bey told me I was his first. I'm the first. So I didn't know that there was no second. How to say that there was no second. I was still in the midst of lack of knowledge of what I was among, lack of knowledge of law, lack of knowledge of the agenda by her and the intentions by those that supported how the union, just lack of knowledge, period, because I still was remembering. Because I was still remembering who I was. I was not even saying the word spirit yet, like I should be able to, or spirituality. When Sheik Dwayne Bey and I obligated and blood bonded, I was consumed with his energy, and he was consumed with mine. So once again, it wasn't that. So I think I pretty much explained why I never saw her as a threat, and I still don't see her as a threat. I don't see her as a threat still to this day. I don't care what has happened, because I know I'm his wife, and I know what I'm worth. Islam. So, and I know what I can do. So, and I know how I can let him go in a manner that is cosmically without damaging myself. So I didn't need to have an entourage of friends to do witchcraft on me, or to hurt me, or separate me from Moorish American National Republic or Moors, because my wealth innately, I'm already have been ordained, and this is the connection to being connected to Spirit Noble Drew Ali, to you, Spirit Noble Drew Ali. I think this is the connection. I knew this. I knew once the attacks start to happen in a malicious manner, in ways that I had no idea, I already knew that I should not worry. I should not worry at all, but I was still hurt a little bit. Oh, well, a lot. But now I'm not anymore. Islam. Now I'm just demonstrating truth. I'm his wife, and then I know what I must do to as a celestial being. I know why I'm his wife. I just know what I must do in a manner where my frequency must be in a manner where a high frequency, where I'm able to heal and not harm. That's just it. Heal and not harm. So, celestial human being. So that was that, and these acts of obligation, blood bonding, happened in 2013. I think it was August where we consummated our vows in 2013, if I remember correctly, and we stayed connected all this time. A short time. I mean, to some they're like, that's a long time. No, it's not. It really isn't, because that's like a day, a half a day. 2013, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Going on 15 years, I think, right? 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Going on 15 years. That's like a maybe 30 minutes out of a day, maybe 10, 15 minutes out of a day. That's it. That's how I think right now. That's no time. I mean, that's time, but that's like, that's, so I know what I need to do, and I know why I'm his wife. So moving forward on those thoughts. I think, was there anything else I wanted to? Oh, okay. Getting back to the Constitution and being among acts of terrorism, I can tell you so many lately how many times I experienced um, waking up and feeling four sharp pains in my legs because I might want to exercise that day, or my feet, or my genitals, blood coming from my genitals from the four sharp pains. These are all acts, excuse me, of war. And upon those who, from those who are in rebellion, whether bodies with demonic spirits, AI, humanoid AI, and so forth. So I was trying to, I'm saying a lot, gotta be careful. I was noticing lately, because a war tactic also is to try to demonstrate it's just a city. It's not, Maryland State is not involved, and it's not outside Maryland State. But what I have realized is that it is social, because the code has been distributed in many on this landmass. When I started to see, when I decided to move, I'm not moving. It's gonna be a while before I move. Possibly, all I know is before I move, I'm gonna give Whole Foods a month notice. That's all I know, and that's all I can tell you. And so when I decided I was gonna move, just like I decided I was gonna move from the hotel, the Black Negro accents and that mainly started saying how they're gonna follow. Okay. Recently, I started to notice because see, if me demonstrating violence and from the Black Negro, male and female, and the imbalanced thoughts and animal thoughts of them, and their need to initiate in that world or frequency that's in rebellion against constitutional laws, to breed or to diminish the frequency of that human, that frequency of natural law, which is in that line, which then allows that beast to still be able to exist. So I realized that it is much, much, much bigger with those who have the code. So I started to see videos of Black men and women that seem to be harassed, where at first I didn't copy. Okay, let me say this. At first I didn't even copy the videos. I would see it and just move and watch the video and move forward. But I started seeing more and more of videos of Black men and women seem to be harassed by the police, where they were just sitting at a restaurant in a neighborhood, and they are in the video, or they're demonstrating that they might be sitting there for a little while, but they're not causing harm. They're there, and that which owns the restaurant calls the police because they look like they could be some threat. And the police asked them, "Can I see your identification?" And they're like, "Why? Why you want to see my identification?" And they're like, "Because there was a call made and I need to see your identification." They're like, "No, I'm not sure." So it looks like that they were being racially profiled. And in the videos that I saw, the ones that I didn't copy and paste, it sounded like AI was saying the police didn't know that they were communicating with a federal agent that's undercover. And after I saw one and then I started seeing more. I said, okay, so knowing what I know in reference to the telepathic code, and how the Black Negro, because Black is not a nationality, African American is not a nationality, and they have been outside of constitutional for a long time. And many of them, not one is too many, but many of them are not, have very little human left because they've been transformed, or they are definitely in connection to that brother humanoid AI initiation. So knowing what I know about them creating false crimes or racial crimes with that which is seemed to be racist in the past, my antennas started to rise up because I said I've been demonstrating my concern about the black Negro male, the brother, and its female following me and Imani and teleporting itself in our house, because it continues to say how it paid, or using immigrants from South Central America, Mexico, or any other, it could be a pale skin that's not in natural law, to demonstrate a form of rape or molestation because of its anger that I chose, or we, Imani and I, are choosing to not allow ourselves to be removed out of natural law and lay down with the beast. So if they're trying to prepare for the following of Imani, because the federal government here, there is a federal government here that's unnaturalized, that's been stalking or abusing their authority, just like the police. If they're trying to prepare for that, the first thing they do is start creating false situations. Knowing people have the telepathic code, so the black male, so they're relying once again on the physical aspect of what is going on. They're not counting the telepathic code or mentalism. This is what they have done for years and got away with crimes against humanity. So if you are a human being and you are an employer or at your employment, and your genitals are being molested, or you feeling forced sharp pains, that is not being seen by the camera. So these federal agents that were all black, I think it was one or two males, or male and female, just say that, were sitting there, looked like they were, these were the videos I didn't copy. They were minding their own business as though they were doing a stakeout. But then a cop comes up, could be a police officer that has protected a community all their life. Okay? See, I know those type of police officers because I grew up around those type of police officers that actually have honor. And when I say grew up in Georgia, I know those type of police officers who put pride in protecting a community. Okay? Those type of police officers who, with the distribution of the telepathic code, know how thoughts can be demonstrated after someone thinks something enough. They can demonstrate it in behavior. So if a person, someone that owns a restaurant, are reading the thoughts of the federal agent who is undercover, and that federal agent is speaking or thinking irrational violence for no reason, as it sits there with the camera physically looking at it and it looks like it's just sitting there. Because one of the videos, the person was like, the cops like, you're just sitting here. He's like, and you haven't ordered anything. He was like, I'm about to order something now. I was just debating. But he had been there, implying he had been there for a while. So if the federal agent is sitting there having irrational thoughts of violence, that when I say irrational, that means he is not defending himself. He's not being forced engaged. He just have irrational, erratical thoughts of violence. And that owner has the code and can hear the thoughts. Or they have humanoid AI picking up on the thoughts somehow. That one of the humanoid AI that I'm under impression that exists, that allows humans to harmonize in organic constitutional laws of freedom. When I say allow, without them trying to harm, because a human can do it with or without their permission, because it's our right. But I'm saying without war. Without war. Because when they start to invade and cause a human or force a human to not do such things, that is an act of war. And that's why President Abraham Lincoln said, I am persecuting the war. So if the camera cannot see the thoughts, it looks like it's a black man, like it has been documented through the years here on this landmass, over 100 years, racial profiling, whatever, and the police officer looks like a bigot, a racist bigot. And so me knowing and being among police officers in the South who were genuinely decent that I've come across. I'm not saying I don't follow them around, but I'm just saying my engagements and experiences have been decent. And I can only put myself in their shoes when they're trying to protect a community that they have been protecting for years and have kept violence and that frequency of harm away from the people, the citizens, the residents that live there. Then all of a sudden, a man who is in, or look to be a man, who is in the body of a black Negro African American comes, looks like it's trying to just purchase food, but sits there for a while having irrational, crazy, violent thoughts. And everything starts to go off in people's head that have the telepathic codes. Like, what's wrong? So the next thing they do is call the cops. The police. And the police doesn't have anything really to go by on the physical plane. And it looks like the man, if it's a man, is the victim of racial profiling. This is what the devil or those unclean spirits or the beasts that's in the bodies of African American black Negroes have relied on, and those that are pale skinned as well, that correlate with them, that are not, that have a little bit of energy of human, a little bit of DNA of human in them, and others have relied on for years. And this is the game they play. So if you already have a racial profiling issue going on that was created by the federal government, because in each video it was the undercover federal agent. When you see the black Negro stalking a woman, what is the likelihood, and you see that there is no way to prove that it's a beast, that animals trying to cause harm? If you feel helpless, what you gonna do? the most likely behavior would be to turn and look the other way. So when I started to realize this is possibly what's going on, it made me think about so many incidents in reference to Black people and dealing with race crimes. For example, there's so many. So many, and how many of them have the code or some type of beast, and literally have used the physical plane to cover up their involvement of the crime of against humanity, the race crime, their involvement with it, with that which committed it, or they involvement period, where they were the one that did it, but the government, the federal government, covered it up. The United States government, the military, covered it up because used something else to blame, hiding that we have a population of devils or unclean spirits. I'm gonna go, I just say unclean spirits, or something that's not human in amalgamated in the population, that's very violent and have used the telepathic code, used mentalism, used a way to manipulate the physical plane and not be persecuted for their crimes, but are in the bodies of African American Black melanated. It started to make even more sense, because through the years, when my consciousness began to change, or even a little bit before my consciousness began to change, I used to hear some of the conscious. They were in Atlanta. They were called conscious brothers and sisters. That's what they were called in Atlanta. But some of them would say, speak about Blacks that were. They called them agents, some type of agent. They called them, some of them, I would say, they called them more agents or other names. But I think they used these words because they could not say, they might have known, but they could not speak because they feared for their life to speak about humanoid AI. The Black Negro, the brother that exists and that has been involved in many rapes, molestations, spreading STDs, and other lab experiments that's in bodies of African American and Black. They are in rebellion against the organic constitution. And how violent, very violent they are. Here is a demonstration. Before I read it, I just had to take a pause. So what I'm about to do now is read, if I have enough time on this video, I don't know, it says 44 minutes, I might not. Chapter 35 of the Holy Crown Circle 7. Okay, I'm having a thought that I was going to say anyway. It's a forced thought, I'm pretty sure, by one of the Black Negroes that I was going to speak of anyway. It has absolutely nothing to do with the population of African American blacks, because I am a spiritual being. And more as I accept that I am a spiritual being, and who I am is the being of man, I realize that I can experience things that may seem out of sequence. For like I have, like for example, I have always